Hello everyone and welcome to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review, and today we are doing our until now last video about Blaugies. I had 4 beers by Blaugies. We already had the Vermontoise. This week we took the 4 best known, I think, beers by Blaugies. It struck me that I forgot one, being their stout. I am very eager to try that one, but nonetheless we've had 4 in total, 5, so let's go out with a bang. Why do I say a bang? Well, because this one is an 8%er. This is the BDB, the BDB, or Blonde de Blaugies, so the Blaugies blonde, not to be mistaken for a bougie blonde. Trademark that name. Maybe if I ever brew again, that will be the first one. Who knows? So yeah, a strong blonde, or actually I believe on their website they describe it as a triple, although it's a very, very fine line between triple and strong blonde. Depending on who you're drinking with, they'll tell you otherwise. But nonetheless, Blonde de Blaugies, yeah, can't say much about it. This is a very classic beer, and the label also gives us not a lot of info. Bière artisanale belge non filtrée à base de malt d'orge et réfermentée en bouteille contient du gluten. So artisanal beer from Belgium, not filtered, on a malted barley base, re-fermented in a bottle, and contains gluten. That is pretty much all they have to say. But as we know, Blaugies makes very, very typical, very classic beers, very traditional beers. So I am very eager to try this. On the logo, on the label, I really hate this label. It's horrible. Yeah, I don't know what to compare it with, but on the other hand, it did work, because on Modest Beer Festival, for example, it did catch my eye. So I shouldn't hate it, but I think it's just ugly as fuck. But then again, it's not about the label, it's all about the beer. So let's have a taste. Again, a non-branded muselet. Oh. Wrong spot. I should really start to redress the studio. Oh wow. Ooh. Oh, that is so savory. That is herbal. Oh wow. I am even more curious now. Please don't tell me that the ugliest label is going to be the best beer. Although I would be shocked if this would be better, in my humble opinion, than La Vermontoise. Because that shit was divine. Cap it off, don't let anything go to waste. Okay, opinions. First off, beautiful color, golden blonde if I ever saw it. Hugely carbonated, but very fine bubbles. Again, very winey, very champagne-y bubbles. A lot of foam, very heavily carbonated, as one can see. I didn't have to work to get foam on there. Actually, I had to cut back a bit to not get 3/4 of foam. Now, we don't mind foam. Foam is beer. Foam will become beer. But on the other hand, we do like it when we have our beer poured decently. And in Belgium, even more than the rest of the world. A lot of foam. I see some medium to large bubbles on top. That is from pouring. Those are getting refilled by or replaced by miniature tiny bubbles from the bottom, because it's heavily carbonated. So this foam absolutely does its job. nice and smooth top, very creamy. It's like a snowy mountain landscape. And that is all that we want from a head of foam. Aromatically speaking, yeah, I thought it was partially the cork that I smelled, but absolutely not. This beer is very aromatic, very herbal, very savory, a bit of umami in there, as far as we can say that on scent and aroma. This reminds me of the best saison beers I've ever had. The Duponts in this world, the Vermontoise, all those beers. So very malty, but also very dry. So I was curious, now I'm very hopeful. Cheers. Oh, surprising. First off, mouthfeel quite aggressive. The bubbles seem small, but they do have they pack a bit of punch. So a slightly aggressive mouthfeel. This is what we or what I like to call the Duvel effect. High in ABV and also high in carbon dioxide. Those tend to to strengthen each other. And sometimes that's okay, sometimes it's not. I do have the feeling that here it is okay, but I'm still on the first sip. So yeah, that's the mouthfeel, very heavily carbonated, quite aggressive. I do get the idea that this is slightly sweeter in taste than it was in the nose. Well, I'm not gonna call it sweet, but it does have that. It has a slight amount, a very small amount of leftover sugars from the malt left, meaning it smells and feels like a farmhouse ale. However, it is not fermented until the end. And it is also quite hoppy. And honestly, in my humble opinion, again, this would be a fantastic competitor for large brands like Duvel, like Omer, like La Chouffe. All the strong blondes in this world. When tasting this, honestly, I would say strong blonde and not triple. Although it's very hard to say what I'm basing this on. I think the resemblance to Omer, to Duvel, to all those strong blondes, and the lack of sweetness, because very often triples are sweet in Belgium, or at least modern day triples are. So I would call this a strong blonde, but I think this can compete in both categories, and I think that their competitors would really have a tough day. I think that the, however small amount of leftover sugars is a genius idea, because I think that is exactly what was needed to balance this beer out, because it is bitter, it is hoppy to a rather high degree. Then those 8% of ABV, that heavy carbon dioxide content, I think that little malty sweetness just finishes this off. Such a good brewery. I don't think that there's one brewery in Belgium or in the world that I have given these high scores consistently, because I'm already thinking about the after flavor. The after flavor is not that strong in any way. So again, very balanced. And the after flavor is mainly like bitter, a tiny bit of dry, and slightly malty. Again, making it very pleasant, making you want more. Okay, this brewery was already on the list, but it is on top of my list now for visiting. I don't think that they are very far from Dupont, so I might have to make a day or a weekend out of that. But yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. So again, 375 going on 4 ish. I know that I've not been very decisive these past few days, but oh yeah, 375 going on 4. And I think we've tried 5 beers by Blaugies until now, and they've all been around 4. So on average, I think this is the best scoring brewery in my repertoire so far. Okay, that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever I upload something. If you want to support this channel, share a video with some friends, spread the love, come visit me in Antwerp. We'll have a beer together, or we'll make a tour around the city. If you want to support even more, you might want to visit the Patreon page, become a Patreon, subscribe to the newsletter, and so on and so on. And I will see you guys again in the next video. Cheers.